You're watching Epic Light Media, brought to you by Hot Rod Cameras.
We are driving in Arizona, trying to find an interesting location to film in. Today, we're going to be talking about... Whoa! What was that? Here I am trying to drive careful, and there's crazy people in the world. Some people like to call them telephoto lenses. Some people call them a long lens. Either way, they give a unique perspective to the image.
Sometimes we want to give our audience a unique perspective, something they've never seen before. That's when we'll use a telephoto lens.
A telephoto lens is any lens with a focal length greater than about 50 millimeters.
Hey, here's something you can do at home. Put out your hands like this, arm's length away from your face, and you've got yourself a 50 millimeter lens equivalent. Now, our eyes aren't a camera. There's a much wider field of view, but the image compression that a 50 millimeter lens gives your camera is roughly the same as your eyes. The late, great Gordon Willis was the director of photography for The Godfather, and one of his favorite lenses was a 40 millimeter lens. He felt that on a Super 35 millimeter film camera, a 40 millimeter lens gave him a very neutral image.
I mean, were you a wide lens guy? Were you a long lens guy that just matter on the moment?
I was a 40 millimeter person, actually. I step into a room, a 40 is perfect. I mean, it's like, it looks very normal on the screen.
Right.
Normal. 40 is, it's a normal, you look at it on the screen, it's, you're not pushing anybody, you're not pulling anybody.
We're about to go up this mountain with a bunch of healthy, active people that climb up and down. And we just aren't in shape, so hopefully we can not pass out from the heat and from exhaustion. Well, here we are. Nature. There's always something exciting to find out here. Look, a cactus. These are native to this part of the world. You can't find them anywhere else. This sign says that we need to use this trail at our own risk. That means that this hike could be risky.
Some directors of photography, like Roger Deakins, prefer a wider lens.
I mean, I think it's a totally different effect to an audience looking at somebody on the end of a 100 millimeter lens, as opposed to somebody that's being shot on a 27 close to or 21. So here we are, 32 mil or 30 millimeter. It's different, right? It's a sense of presence. You're right there with somebody as opposed to being. I think psychologically it's a totally different effect.
This is a telephoto lens from Sigma. It's a 150 to 600 millimeter lens. It's a telephoto zoom lens. This is another telephoto lens from Canon, the trusty 70 to 200. A lot of photographers and filmmakers really like this lens. It has a relatively fast aperture at f2.8. Some of you may erroneously suppose that aperture plays the biggest role in achieving a creamy bokeh. This is false, and I can prove it. Focal length is the biggest contributing factor to bokeh. The longer the focal length, the more bokeh we achieve. Normally, I will tell you that I am staying between 35 and 50 millimeters. That is my standard field of view that I prefer while filming. But sometimes, right when I arrive to a location to film, I will reach for my telephoto lens. There are some specific reasons why I will use a telephoto lens instead of a standard focal length. There are three magical things that a telephoto lens gives you as a creative. Number one, compression. A while ago, we were shooting a short film about a little boy who loves cars. We had a location with a mountain in the background, and we really wanted that mountain to fill the frame because it was such an interesting location. So we chose to shoot that shot on a 600 millimeter lens. In the same short film, there was a small red shed in the background of one of the shots that I noticed. And I thought, I really like the look of that, but if I shoot on a standard lens, it will only be a little thing in the background. So I went across the yard and I filmed on a 600mm lens. And it was quite an inconvenience, but it was really worth it. Number 2, it will actually change the way somebody's face looks. Is huge and you can buy a lot of stuff there, but if you try to talk to somebody about the equipment that you're trying to buy, they won't know what they're talking about, because professionals in the film industry don't work at selling products. If you try to call them about certain products they sell, they will have nothing but horribleness to talk to you about. Now, there's a special camera store based in California called Hot Rod Cameras. You may or may not have heard of them. I'm going to tell you right now that Hot Rod Cameras is staffed by true professionals. If you call up Hot Rod Cameras with any question, if they don't know the answer, they're total camera nerds, okay? They'll find the answer. Chances are they probably know the answer, okay? If you're looking for equipment, check out hotrodcameras.com. Number 3, a telephoto lens will give you the most amount of bokeh you can possibly imagine. In fact, sometimes there's so much bokeh it looks like the actor is green screened against a cheesy background. So I actually closed down that aperture to like an f16 so the bokeh can be manageable. This shot that you're seeing here was shot at an f16 and there's still a lot of bokeh. I'm filming these cars on 600mm. Can you see them on the 12mm lens? They're over there. Do you see them at all? Because here, they're huge. I think that these special focal lengths, wide-angle lenses and telephoto lenses, it's a unique opportunity that we have as creatives. For the span of human existence, for so many thousands of years, people could only see the world with their eyes. Telescopes were invented, the camera obscura, and now we have these amazing tools to tell stories with. And we can use our lenses like a narrator or an author would to craft a story in a particular way. As filmmakers, as we become more adept at understanding what our tools are doing to the viewer psychologically, that's when our work will shine. I think it's important to remember that what's on screen is not as real as what's happening in the viewer's head as they're watching a movie or a video. That's what this is all about. Giving people different perspectives, visually, narratively. And being a filmmaker is so exciting because we get to, when it all comes down to it, tell stories. And the story is what happens in the audience's mind. It's their imagination. Even if they're seeing a screen, the true story is happening in the audience's mind. Their emotions, what's happening on a human level. That's what art is. Art, beauty, they affect us as humans. The art is of no value without the human observing it. The film is of no value sitting in a can on a shelf. The value is what's happening here. And as we use our tools as filmmakers to affect people's emotions, that's when we become artists.
Remember, Hot Rod Cameras is the best.
hotrodcameras.com. I honestly hope that you have enjoyed this video, but if you have not, I would encourage you to be forthright and honest and give us a big thumbs down and leave a negative comment expressing your anger towards me personally. As always, don't subscribe if you are interested, because this is kind of like a closed club and we don't want to invite too many people to this session.
Some people like the look of Arizona. They like cactus. They like rocks. I don't. I wish I was living in Canada with Peter McKinnon. But here I am in the armpit of the world,